An ancient Chinese legend, which I just made up, says that one day a copy of Tomb was walking by the street when it encountered a copy of Dominion. Between the two games was love at first sight, and from their union a game was born called Thunderstone, which is in fact a game where you send your heroes in the dungeon to kill monsters and gain points, just like in Tomb, but you do so by using a deck building engine like in Dominion. Thunderstone is a game that has been very successful. It has had several expansions, and the last one is Thunderstone Dragonspire, which is this one. A very important expansion in the Thunderstone world, also because it is the first expansion that also works as a standalone game. So it could be an excellent entry point to the series. New monsters, new items, new heroes, new stuff, so I'm sure you're curious, you want to know what's in the box, so let's move on and let's have a look at that. First, let's see what you find in the box. Of course, you have a rulebook, which is 24 pages long, a lot of examples, illustrations, definitions. If this is the first Thunderstone game that you play, you won't have any problem learning the system from this book. It's very well organized. Then you have a board where you can place your dungeon deck, and then you can place here the cards of the monsters that are in the dungeon, and you even have a space for the guardian when he gets out of the dungeon. So the board, did you really need it? Probably not, but is it nice to have it? Oh yeah, heck yeah. When you have it, then you're wondering, how could I ever play without? Along the same lines of things that you did not need before you had them and then you can't play without are these markers here that you use to track the number of experience points that players gain during the game, and it's just such a nice upgrade in terms of components from the cards that you would use from the previous expansions. Then you have a lot of space in the box here. The box is designed in such a way that if you want, you can also store in it the previous Thunderstone games, but I just wanted to show you what you get in this box when you buy Dragonspire. In Dragonspire, you find new sets of the same categories of cards that you have in the previous games, but you also find one completely new category, which is setting. If you decide to play with a setting, then the card that you draw randomly will give special conditions to the entire dungeon. For example, if you have this setting, then in the entire dungeon there are no light penalties, however a player has to destroy a card at the end of a battle. If you use this card, then you have an additional monster class. At the end of any turn, the players are going to the dungeon, move rank 1 monster to rank 3, and shifting the other monsters forward, so the monsters keep cycling and dancing around. At the end of any battle, you gain a disease. Monsters do not generate gold. Good luck with that one. So they can be interesting. It's nice to have the option of changing radically the entire condition of the dungeon, especially if you are an experienced player or just played it so much that you're almost burned out and you really want a radical change. Otherwise, if you're just teaching the game to somebody, I would not recommend using the setting cards. Dragonspire gives you a lot of new stuff that you can put in the dungeon. First, let's start with the good stuff, which are the treasures. In line with the dragon theme, you have all these dragon figurines, which will give players different powers, and some of these powers are really, really good. Then you have the dark side of the coin is the traps, the draconic traps. How cute is that? They are made with pieces of dragon, with the dragon's teeth and jaw and claws, and these traps will destroy heroes, will destroy weapons, or annoyingly enough, will destroy the monster that you just killed in the dungeon. Monsters. One of my favorite categories, the Dark Enchanted, just because it has MEDUSA, which is an extremely challenging monster to destroy. She destroys one hero that does not have an edge weapon before determining the total attack, and at the end of battle she can destroy another hero without edge weapons. So prepare your daggers, otherwise MEDUSA is going to be very hard to take down. And we did have games where people just got obsessed, they had to kill her, and it took us a while, but it was fun. You have the Undead Leech, which are immune to magic attacks, so since I like to make stuff hard for myself, I like to combine them with the Dark Enchanted, because you have several of those that, quite the contrary, can be killed only with magic attack. Yeah, I kind of like that. I like the challenge. The Undead Plague, self-explanatory. These guys are gonna give you more diseases that you could dream of. And this one also is very interesting because each player gains one disease whenever another monster is defeated. When this guy comes into play, the game for a while will have a semi-cooperative aspect because people really have to agree, let's not kill the other guys, otherwise this other one will start just spreading diseases all over the place. Let's get to the 3 ones that I like the most. The bandits, their stitch, the thing that they do is to require a certain number of heroes to be present to kill them. I guess that the idea is they are particularly sneaky, so you need many heroes to surround them. For example, this cannot be defeated by less than 4, this one by less than 5 heroes or more. So you really need to get a good large group of heroes. And okay, this is fun, but what I really like, again, because I might have that masochistic aspect in me, is to combine them with the giants, because their effects is pretty complementary, because actually they automatically destroy heroes that go around them. This guy destroys one hero with lower strength. Oh, this is awesome. Awesome, of course, terrible, but it's fun. Destroy 2 heroes with strength of 5 or less. Destroy all but 2 strongest heroes. So in a way, these are good because you can use them to flatten all the militia when you want to start getting rid of them. But at the same time, again, put them together with these guys, and these guys keep destroying your heroes, and you keep having to replenish your hero pool in order to take down the bandits. It's a very interesting challenge, but this is Dragonspire, so let's go to the dragon. And what the dragons do special is that usually they take gold. You need to have gold to reveal gold when you attack them, otherwise their health is doubled. So again, you might want to start early a money strategy if you're planning to play with the dragons. Luckily enough, they also give you quite a bit of money, so that makes them not impossible to beat. In fantasy games where you have categories such as fighters, warriors, clerics, wizards, very often the fighters are the most boring category. They just go there, they do big damage, they take damage, and then that's it. But I would say that in Dragonspire, the fighters are very interesting. They did a very good job here to make them an appealing category, not just powerful but fun to play. One category you have here, for example, is the veterans that are pretty powerful to start with, also very expensive to buy. But what's very interesting is that as you level them up, they start destroying other heroes for additional attack points. We kind of wonder how that is possible. Do they grab the hero and throw it at the enemy? It's not very nice, but it works very well. It allows you to strategize, get rid of other cards. Also, this is the only category to date that goes up to level 4, so very powerful, and gives also a lot of experience points if you get that. Another fighter category, which is pretty unique, is the Phalanx, because the Phalanx, quite the contrary, as a matter of karma, only have 2 levels. They are pretty hard to level up, well, because once you level them up, you just get to the maximum level, and they're not only pretty powerful per se, but much more interesting. They get more and more powerful the more you have. If you reveal multiple of them, they work very well together and they get insanely powerful. So if you're gonna start buying those, buy as many as you can. The Flame Watch, one of the favorite. When he's on the table, he just flies off the table. Everybody wants the Flame Watch because they're good as fighters. They have some intrinsic light, and then they get more powerful. As they level up, they get additional magic attack for extra light that you have above penalties, and they have, again, even stronger magic attacks for lights, and since they're carrying some light with them, that makes them really powerful. Wizards and clerics, you need them, you will buy some, but in this game they seem a little less intriguing and fun to play than other categories. One exception to the wizard cleric standard fare is the Gorinth. The Gorinth, well, if you can get past the weird illustration, nobody really likes that because it looks like he really ate some strange mushrooms, but who knows where he gets his magic from. He is interesting because as he levels up, he starts gaining magic attacks from gold that is revealed. So he works particularly well in a game where you also have the dragons, where in any case you need to develop a money strategy. So in that case, he can be interesting and powerful. Thieves, very important because of the draconic traps that require them in order to, well, survive them. The half-orc thief fighter, which is interesting because it either destroys food or just destroys general items to gain extra attacks, so can be good to make your deck tighter. And then the Chulian is a category that I really like because the Chulian thief is very well balanced. A little bit of light, a little bit of attack, a little bit of mana, a little bit of everything. Also, as you level her up, she starts forcing other players to discard cards. So it's also an interactive card. So it adds that interactive dimension to the game. Since I don't have time to go through every village card, I'll just show you some of those that I find more interesting. One is the Burned Offering that allows you to destroy a card when you're in the village or the dungeon, so you have the effect of resting but without wasting a turn. Touring Gauntlet gives you quite some money, has good attack, and also allows you to equip an extra weapon, so there's gonna be a strategy there. The Polymorph spell that allows you to look at the top card on the dungeon deck and then you can replace it with a monster in the hall, so it gives you more control on the monsters that you will fight. The Frost Giant Axe, which is just huge, not many heroes can lift it, but also can give some extra strength to your heroes under certain circumstances. The Scout, a lot of strategy, especially when you use the Village effect, which is draw 3 cards, place 3 cards on top of your deck in any order. So you just have more choices on how you want to organize the cards that you will have this turn and those that you will have available next turn. Silver Storm, magic attack +1 for each 2 gold that you reveal, which might not be that cool per se, but it's very interesting when it interacts in that general money strategy that also several other cards in this game seem to point toward. Chieftain's Drum, some people really like it. I don't know, I find it a little too strange for me. You name hero, village, or monster and discard the top card of your deck. If you name the cards type correctly, you draw 2 cards. So if you're lucky, it's good, otherwise you just wasted a card. The game keeps its promises. It promises to be an expansion to the previous chapters of Thunderstone, and it really adds a lot of combinations and options and things that you can do when you put it together with the previous sets. Very interesting, it works very well. Also, it is in a way, yes, more of the same, but you know that in deck building games, more of the same is not exactly the same. Also, you have the setting cards, which add that variation to the game, especially if you played it a lot. They could be a welcome addition to the options that you have. It promises to be a standalone game, an entry point to the series, and I played it many times using only what you find in the box of Dragonspire, and it does work very well. The game is already rich and tight and interesting. You already have many options. You don't need anything else. You will want to add a lot of stuff, but technically speaking, you don't need to. Also, it has that board that makes it easier to introduce new players to the game. So bottom line, I think the fans of Thunderstone will really enjoy Dragonspire, and all the new players that they taught the game to using Dragonspire also enjoyed it very much. So I think it's a very good game.